Hey gun people, ran across this video, seemed pretty interesting, some bad tactics by the cops, but tough situation. I don't know if these are cops, military, the police and the military, probably just threw a bunch of guys out there, reservists, National Guard, somebody who's not used to dealing with people, and they're trying to stop this border crossing. Well, as we get into this video here, you're going to see some, look, when you're dealing with mobs and a mob mentality, if you get caught up in a riot or something, a small force can't overpower a large force. The only way that a small force can overpower is through domination. And that's either you kill them or you have weapons that can stop multiple people. Okay, a gun, you shoot a few people, some will run, some will stop charging, some will keep charging. But you're going to reduce the numbers very rapidly when you start shooting into a crowd, because most people's will to live are they're going to scatter, they're going to leave. So unless you're allowed to shoot, trying to control a larger force with a smaller force, very difficult to do. Can you use tear gas? Yeah, but that affects the cops. Can you use pepper spray? Yeah, but that can affect the cops. Again, if there's no fear of these people losing their life, back to my old Bob Dylan song, when you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. These guys are running from their area, whatever it may be, whether it's a riot, whether it's to get something free, whether it's to cross a border to a better place, whatever it is. If you can't use some sort of physical barrier or means to stop them, and you try to stop them with a little barbed wire or some people, look, people are going to have bolt cutters. They're going to cut barbed wire. They're going to, I mean, in Korea we had barbed wire around all our Air Force bases, but they were cut all the time. So in our barbed wire we'd have trip flares and we'd have wires. So when they cut it, we would know, because the trip flare would go off and it would light up at night. During the day, it's a little bit harder to see, but you could see the smoke, or somebody's paying attention, they would know that somebody crossed over there. But again, then you have to respond to it. If a large force wanted to come across, cut that barbed wire and come through, there's not a whole lot you can do. So, I mean, the mentality of the people that set this up and try to say, you guys stop these borders, it's more of a bluff. It's a show of force, unless you give them the ability to shoot people. And people will be like, oh man, you can't shoot people just for... Look, you don't see this situation happening at nuclear weapon sites. You don't see people climbing fences where nuclear weapons are stored. I've guarded nuclear weapons, I've been around, I've responded, I mean, we transported. Believe me, when it comes to nukes, you shoot first and ask questions later. It's just no bars question. The federal government gives you complete immunity. You shoot, period. I don't care if you didn't know the language. I don't care if you made a wrong turn. You cross a fence or a border with nuclear weapons and you don't stop, you're shot and dead. And guess what? You don't have people crossing nuclear weapon borders. You don't have people climbing fences where nuclear weapons are at. It's up to me. I put nuclear weapons all across the damn border, because then nobody would come across our border. Because they know if you come around nuclear weapons, you're going to get shot. Everybody's going to be like, oh, that's cruel, you can't be shooting people. Look, if you're not willing to defend what you have, a stronger force is going to take it. So, I mean, during a riot situation, I remember LA so clearly. Man, I'm telling you, those Koreans that got on the roofs and they were shooting at the looters, their store did not get looted. The guys on the roof got shot back. Some people shot back at them, but most people stayed away and said, there's easier targets. You have to make something hard so people will look for easier targets. And this is a very easy target to me. It may look like a lot of people. They got masks on. They may have weapons. I don't know if I saw weapons or not. I saw them with some PR-24s. We'll watch it here. But understanding the mentality, this damn thing, I swear to God, I just turned that off. Ugh, it's irritating. So, a stronger force is the only thing that you need to stop. But you have to be strong if you're stopping a massive force. So we're going to play this and I'll look at some different things here. But again, I want you to think, every time you hear people saying, oh, we couldn't stop it, and they broke in, and they looted, and they're coming across the border, and they did this, and they did that. You know what? You never read Nuclear weapon site, mass crowds storm the fence and climb the fence at a nuclear weapon site. Just ain't going to happen because they know what they'll get. There has to be consequences serious enough to stop whatever it is that's motivating the people to come. I mean, you go back to the old medieval king days, castles. They may come and try to storm the castle, but when they dump hot oil on you, people didn't storm the castle. They figured out another way. So, more forces coming. They're trying to push. They're pushing. You know, it's like a tug of war. You get 5 big guys and you get 20 little bitty skinny guys. The 5 big guys are going to yank the skinny guys over. But you get 20 big guys against 5 big guys, I mean, numbers are going to win. Numbers, weight, mass, these people are being pushed. Some of them may not even be pushing. They may be trying to just stand there and ask to get in, and they're getting pushed from the rear and getting smashed. So then they're getting pushed from the front. So then they go into survival mode. So, I mean, and this is a tough situation. More problems. Most guys aren't going to want to hit kids and women. It's just instinctive. It's just most cultures, unless you're Muslim, then it's okay to beat the hell out of women. But most cultures and men aren't going to hit. And you notice all the people that are trying to get to other countries, they're not trying to get to Muslim countries. You don't see people invading Muslim countries trying to get in there. You know, it's always the white countries that are so bad and mean and racist. Everybody wants to hate on the white man. But it's funny how all the people that are fleeing to predominantly white countries that are run by the mean white man. But I digress. Here we go. Women and children getting through. Once they're through, they're done. What does this do? This motivates more people to say, hey, if we can get through them, now we're going to get going. Because they didn't stop those people that went through. They didn't hurt them. Now they just educated. Warfare and tactics is about education. You learn the tactics of your enemy, and then you do things to avoid it. This line of people, this force here, whether cops, Green Beret, military, whatever, they just showed that their tactics are, if you get past this little group right here, you get to go in. So that's motivating them to come even harder, just like the U.S. does. Carrying kids, barbed wire. So they've cut this fence and they're running through here. So what happens is the planners and the people who are dictating this to stop this force on, and this happens in all military operations or any police operations, government operations. You send what you think you need and then you depend on your physical barrier. So they don't have a massive force like you saw at the beginning everywhere along this barbed wire. They're depending on this barbed wire over long distance to stop people. That's a bad move because, I mean, it just ain't going to work. So now this guy has police on his back, so they must be some sort of police force. You notice now that these guys' will to fight have kind of been demoralized. The cops have given up and they've kind of said, hey, we can't stop them. We can't shoot them. Why are we going to keep, trying and get... there's just not much you can do. So this is kind of like a dehumiliation of forces, or you've given somebody a task and a mission, and they just can't carry it out. So at some point, they need to accept the fact that there's no point. Now, I agree with these guys who are kind of like, hey, we can't do it, there ain't no point. There's a couple guys in here that start hitting people and chasing them, and I'm like, really, dude? Is that necessary? I mean, are you really making a difference? But this... the person that does that gets caught up. So these guys just kind of turn their back. They're kind of like, hey, you know what, we're trying. Now this guy right here is hitting, and he's striking this dude, but the guy's like, dude, I'm trying to get in. Why are you hitting me? You're letting other people in. Other people got through without hitting. Why am I getting hit? 1, you're a man. 2, you're not carrying a kid. 3, you're not a woman. And 4, a lot of people got by me. Now I'm pissed. I'm irritated. Maybe I'm worried about my safety. Maybe I'm just getting frustrated and I'm like, shit, I'm going to hit somebody because I've been getting hit and stomped on and pushed, etc. So, again, I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just trying to explain what goes on through the cop's mind or what could be going on. He's got a baton. Another guy with it. Now the guy gets through. After he gets hit, he gets through. So you see they're carrying side handle batons here. A side handle baton is also called a PR-24. In martial arts, it's called other things. For police, we used to call it a side handle baton or a PR-24. So it gives a side handle there on that baton. It gives you the ability to swing, but you got to use that side handle. There's one guy that throws it. Okay, so this guy is carrying his baton by the rear butt. It's called the butt end of the baton because it's the rear, but instead of by the side handle. Well, that's not as strong as a grip. So you're going to notice he's going to swing at somebody and he loses his baton. So keep an eye on this guy. He'll lose his baton here. So these people have cut the wire and they're going through another area. Now, if 50 of you guys can't stop in one area, what makes you think one or two guys is going to stop this many people in this area? Again, these cops and military, they're going into reaction, they're going into training. Don't give up, respond, use force, show force, do what you're authorized to do. I can't shoot you, but I'm allowed to hit you. I'm allowed to use force to try and stop you. So I'm trying to do the best I can, and I'm getting caught up because in reality, this guy ought to just go, hey, you know what? I'm not making a difference. What the hell am I doing? But he doesn't. He resorts back to training reactions. Loses the baton. Has to go pick it up. So this guy, again, they're carrying their helmets. They're wearing their nice, pretty berets, which we wore in the Air Force. I don't like them. The green berets, I mean, to me, they're kind of useless hat of paint a butt. They're wool or hot. But they look cool and they identify you as, I guess, some sort of special stuff. Not a whole lot that can be done here. I mean, they're just coming across. You've lost control. This guy's got a stick. He's threatening. They're coming across in multiple locations. You have a force here. You had a force back here. So they've cut a new area here. Again, your enemy will always adapt to your tactics, your weaknesses. And that's how you win. I mean, you exploit the weaknesses of your enemy. And I'm not saying these guys are enemies, but in this situation, you have a force trying to stop you from coming in, and you've got a force that wants to come in. So, it is what it is, and I'll tell you. Now, somebody blew something up there, and I don't think that was the cops, but maybe it was. But you'll notice a lot of these people take that as a clue, and they leave. So, now, what amazed me here is all these people got in, and there's only one guy. There's one cop. And you'll see people stop and turn around. That's what I call the warrior mindset, or the mindset of, hey, I don't have the will to fight. I mean, if I've got 5 people and there's only one guy with a stick, look, we can either run by him or we can overpower him, but I'm not turning around if I've got numbers. And this guy raises his hand, gets big, lets all these other people go, but raises his hand, gets in the middle, totally sets himself up that if somebody really wanted to come around behind him and take him out, they could. These protesters are invaders, or illegal immigrants, or poor citizens that are trying to get to a better life, whatever the liberals want to call them. They're breaking the law, and they're being what I call as a kind of a passive resistance. They're not actively fighting the cops. They're not trying to take the cops' weapons, and they're not attacking the cops. They're merely doing what they want to do, looting, running, violating lines, whatever you want to call it, but they're not actively attacking the cops. Because if they wanted to, man, this cop shit's weak, but he's pretty lucky. So he swings and these people turn around. I don't get it. Now, how long do you think this guy, here's another guy over here, but how long do you think all these people are going to let him with one stick, and how long before he gets tired if they keep coming across? So these guys are just kind of lucky. They're kind of like, hey, we did the best we could. They got through. We stopped. We're trying to do the best. They're doing their training. They're trying to follow orders. Are they making a difference? Well, they made a difference. That dude, he turned around. But yeah, this is a great situation. A couple guys went through. Lady wants to go through. She got a kid. Lady, they get through. He doesn't hit them. He hits other people. So, I'll give it a quick playthrough here and kind of just let you watch the whole thing through. I don't know if other people can get it. I think this was on Facebook, so sometimes it's not available. And I can't give a link. Very, very tough situation for these guys. Out of control quick, massive crowds. You don't know if somebody's got a knife. You don't know if somebody's stabbing. You don't know if they're carrying drugs. You don't know if they're carrying weapons. You know, you got women and children. Like I said, most people aren't going to hit them. Some guys give up. They say, screw it, we can't do much. Other guys are still hitting and still in the fight. Loses the baton. This is called kind of controlled chaos or limited control chaos. So at least 60 people got through there, and this guy turned around because he didn't want to get hit. So, tactics-wise, are the cops bad? Good. I mean, hey, you're doing the best they can with the tools they got, with the ability to use the force that they're authorized to use. And like I said, you don't see this happening at Air Force bases. You don't see it happening at military bases, and you don't see it happening around nuclear weapons. We call that a clue. Why doesn't it happen to these places? Well, it's a very easy reason. Because if you do that, you get shot and you get killed. And people aren't willing to die. None of these people are willing to die to get to another place. They may be acting like they're willing to die, but as soon as a few start dying, I mean, would you rather, you know, live in crap, or would you rather run a gunfire? I forgot what, was it Stalin or somebody running one of the Russian wars? He gave orders to all the commanders that if anybody turned and fled, they were to be shot. So the force ran into a fight, lost, they were losing, they got their ass beat, and a lot of them died. But they had a choice of taking a chance running at the enemy or turning around knowing that there was guys waiting there with guns that were going to shoot them if they turned around and ran back. So they ran to the enemy and took their chances. And a lot of them died. You know, other situations of that is when, you know, people get to new islands and they want to start a new community and they burn the ships so people can't leave. So they don't have that motivation to leave. There's no option to leave, so you have to make it. Anyway, we'll end that there. Hopefully that helps you get something out of it.